When I studied economics at the Sloan School of Business many, many years ago, one of my professors said, there's no free lunch. And I'm sure you remember this phrase when you were in the city. No free lunch. And for people that don't know what that means is there's no free lunch. You never get anything for free. You're always going to pay for anything you get. And right now people are getting 80% of their wages in furlough, and they're thinking, okay, things are pretty good. But I'm curious if they really realized that their savings just went down to negative, maybe in real terms, or their mortgage on their property just doubled, or all these other costs in the future are actually going up massively because they are actually paying for their own subsidized salary, if they would accept it or if they would be behaving in the same way. I don't know. What do you think of that thought?
Well, it's a good question. And right now, I suspect most people, but let's put it this way, the people who've received, continuing to get most of their income on furlough, I would imagine probably think it's a good deal, in the sense that they've been hit extremely hard, and in a sense, quite rightly, the cost of that will then be spread out across the wider population. Many of whom are alive now, but some of whom aren't even alive because the extra taxes may come 30, 40, 50 years down the road. And I think there is an argument, actually, which is kind of like an insurance argument for people who, through no fault of their own, have taken a huge hit to their income, to get a kind of insurance policy from the rest of society. Whether or not people are aware of the scale of it and just how much higher taxes might be and when the bill will be picked up, I rather imagine that most people don't look too closely at the numbers, haven't got the same interest perhaps as you and I in looking at, what is the scale of government debt? What is the size of the deficit? If you shared that out amongst the population, how much would higher taxes be in the future? So it's a bit hard to know how many people would still support the policies the government was following if they were looking closely at the numbers. My guess, though, at the moment is that there would be fairly widespread support for it. And I think that's because at the moment, most people, I think, rightly recognize that those people who are unable to work and have lost their job, are in a sense the very unlucky people through no fault of their own. Of course, things would change if one were allowed to more or less indefinitely stay on a furlough. And the incentive then for some people might be, well, I don't really feel that keen to go and look for another job. And I think that's why the government is very keen that these very expensive support measures, people on furlough, are seen to be very much time limited and restricted to periods where it's the government itself has, in a sense, force people not to be able to work, rather than something we're just going to roll forward and extend forward, right through much of next year and beyond. I think the Chancellor, is rightly very reluctant to be seen to be willing to let furlough schemes just run and run and run.